Wow, we're here in an inclement download festival, Castle Donington with Dante Bonutto.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
The weather's not great, but I've been to enough festivals to know that this is par for the course in the UK. And the main thing is the vibe is good.
The vibe is good, and of course the media tent and the media area now gets packed. Get a bit steamy, won't it?
Rocking here, absolutely, yeah.
It's good. So, Spinefarm Records then.
Yeah.
You've got a few acts here this weekend.
Yeah, we have. We had, yesterday we had Crocodile, new band from the UK, did a really good show. And then we had the Cadillac Three, all the way from Nashville. They flew in yesterday morning, landed in London about 10 o'clock, drove straight up to download and played at 3:50. Unfortunately, their guitars didn't come with them. They were lost by the airline company. And so happily, Blackstone Cherry, who are friends of theirs, and young Aaron Keylock, also a friend of theirs, lent them guitars. Without that, there wouldn't have been a show. So that is, they do live by the seat of their pants because they're always touring in America. This is the thing. They've always got shows in the States.
We did speak to them yesterday afternoon, and they were shot. They were definitely jet lagged, bless them, and just coming in just for today, and then going home again.
They work really, really hard. I mean, they tour all the time in the States. They've got a single out there, White Lightning, at the minute, which they're supporting. New videos coming for that as well. But they play all the time, so we try and grab as much of their time as we possibly can. And they've been here, I think, about 6 times actually now on this first album and EP. So we're waiting now for the second album, really, and then we're going to bring them back and do a big headline UK tour.
Jolly good. And does that type of act, that's this crossover, that country vibe, bluesgrass sort of vibe, as well as the rock ethic that they've got within it, does that challenge you as a record label?
Actually, no, because I think that's quite a happening scene at the moment. The crossover between the swagger of country and the power of rock, with bands like Rival Sons or Blackberry Smoke, or even Temperance Movement, I think as well. So I think we've got another band called Whiskey Myers who are kind of more straight on line Southern rock. But I don't know why. I think it's because and we saw Blackstone Cherry yesterday as well, who did a fantastic set. Really good. And I think I was talking to them about it actually, and I think they think it's because those bands are very authentic and they sing about things they know and they love and they're proud of. It's very credible. And there's no airs and graces about it. And I think it's geographical to some extent, I think, where you're kind of from, how you're brought up. Yeah. And I think rock fans respond to the authenticity of it and the fact it's real. It's real musicians playing music they love and they're passionate about. And it's part of their lifestyle. It's a lifestyle music for them. So I think it really connects. And, I think also because rock has had a bit of a hard time recently, a lot of the rock musicians have sort of moved into country. So when you go and see like a country band, in inverted commas, there's often 3 guitar players, pyro, and and people in leather, and you watch the videos and it's women in minimal clothing, which you can't kind of do in rock anymore, I guess, but maybe country it's okay. So it's kind of all the old values of rock are sort of metamorphosed into this, into the outlaw country scene, I guess. So very exciting kind of hybrid area of the market, I think. So for us, I think it's actually a really exciting thing,
Yes, it's interesting. You mentioned Rival Sons, Temperance Movement on a small label like Earache and things like that, and able to fill the venues out and pack them out. So, and the Cadillac Three are great entertainment live on stage, aren't they? Without a bass player, sort of doing the sit down steel guitar sort of bass as well. And
I'm amazed he can do that. Really, I think Jaron calls it a science project. Because I think because they were a band called American Bang before that as a 4-piece. And the 3 guys who are now in the band were all school friends, and the 4th guy was a guitarist who joined the band. So when they wanted to do something new, he left, and they thought, well, let's try and stay as a 3-piece. But how do we do that? And so Kelby happily could play lap steel and could play bass, and managed to combine the two. So they don't need anybody else. And it's probably cheaper as well. Saves an
share the profits.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's good
for
them.
Less person.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so what do you think to the music scene, and certainly the rock music scene at the moment? There are certain challenges. We've got Tidal's just come out, and we've got Apple Music now coming out, and of course Spotify, we're getting all the flack for not paying any decent royalties to the artists, and now they're seeing like the good guys because Apple are paying even less to the artist on a per stream basis. How does Spinefarm come at that sort of market, and where do you see it heading in the next very quick 3 or 4, 5 years?
It's changing almost day by day. We're in an industry that's built on shifting sands at the moment. I think for someone like myself, who grew up buying vinyl, I'm old enough to remember all that and actually love all that. Yeah, exactly. I think that there's something almost fundamentally odd about kind of giving things away. But I think what we have to accept is the fact that times have changed. People consume music in vastly different ways to when I was growing up. I mean, when I bought an album, I never really heard the album I was buying. I read a review or heard a track on the Friday Rock Show maybe. But now people have heard a stream of that record almost certainly before it comes out. So what it means, I think, is that we have to embrace the new technology, make it work for us. And the one really positive thing about it, I think, is that because people are hearing music before they kind of purchase the music often, it's an incentive to purchase. That music's got to be great. So we as a label really have to work with bands, artists, whatever, who have a real vision, are really talented and actually stars and can make great music that will excite a younger audience, I think, as well. There really probably is too many bands, too much music, which is great in one way, but in another way it does kind of clutter up the marketplace with stuff. With the best way in the world is never going to be spectacularly wonderful. It can be good, but being good I don't think is enough anymore. I think you've got to be really good, damn good, or if not great. Preferably, let's go for great. Preferably great. We'll try and get great.
So another great band on your roster who are playing this weekend, Von Herzen Brothers.
Yes. Yeah.
We were just mentioning off camera there a few moments ago that they're on their 6th or 7th album.
Yeah.
And a number of those have been with you guys.
Yeah. Totally.
So they're an artist that you've been prepared to allow develop and allowed to grow. Yeah. And is that a Spinefarm ethos, or is that just pertinent to the Von Herzen Brothers because they're brothers and they stick together and there's no lineup changes?
Well, I think one of the problems with the industry has been the fact that in the old days, bands, if you signed to a record company, you probably thought, I've got maybe 3 albums to make a mark here. Yeah. So the clock wasn't ticking straight away. That's not true anymore.
No.
And I think that means that bands do kind of hop from label to label. Sometimes they can't have long careers because they can't sustain themselves without support of a label or an infrastructure around them. But it makes sense to try and have bands who do have a catalogue and can build up their career, because if that doesn't happen, who's going to headline Download in 10 years' time? The old guard, who we all know and love, Judas Priest played yesterday, who were on the first Download, which I was at, So these guys, let's hope that they're forever. I mean, they probably can't be. So someone's got to come through. And as an industry, I think we all have to think, okay, let's try and bring through the next breed of headline band. And I think those bands, really are going to have to step up as well. I thought Avenged Sevenfold, who played here, did a really good job. I think Five Finger Death Punch could be a future headline of this particular festival. And the band we work with, Ghost, I think of all the ingredients, the theatricality, the great music, that big vision, the entertainment value. I think they could be a band who eventually could be playing big shows like
this. And they're okay to get different musicians in, of course.
Well, there is that. They don't do that, of course, but I guess the option is there. That's true. But I just love the fact that when you go down that path, you can't turn back. They can't now play a gig in jeans and t-shirts like Kiss could, and still can't, in fact. But I kind of respect that. Because once you go down that path, you've just got to go for it. You can't pull back again. And I think people love theatricality. They want to be entertained.
We're talking about Slipknot, who played yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, those guys, they have a career outside of Slipknot, and they take their masks off and do different style of music. Kiss did Unmasked. Reinvented themselves and did the Madonna coming out different styles each time. So perhaps Ghost are they're gonna have a feature.
Who knows? It'll be exciting. They've got a very clear vision, but that vision will develop and expand album by album. This is just their 3rd album coming out in August. They're already 3 albums in. Yeah, 3 albums in now. I have to say, obviously, I'm partisan. I work with Ghost, but it's a fantastic record. I mean, the single and the video just out, but it's an amazing album. So I really recommend you check that out.
And does he come to the office? All in makeup?
He hasn't yet. I'm sure he would if he was. But to be honest with you, I mean, the vision of the band is very strong, and I love the fact there's a real work ethic about it as well, and a real attention to detail about the project too. That's essential for us, because if we work with someone who's got a real vision, we think we can, enhance that, amplify it, fund it, whatever. But you can't create that. Someone's got to have that within them. A label can't give anybody that vision, and we shouldn't be doing that, to be honest with you. We want to find people who've got that star quality and want to be the biggest band in the world. Every band should want to do that. and let's work with those ones.
That's interesting that you say that, because you've got the likes of Psycho, and that sort of, they will happily mould a band and create a band through auditions and things like that, and you're saying actually from your ethos you actually want to find that from the artist.
I think so.
And you're there to then do what the record label should do, is encourage it and develop them as that artist to make a mass market for them.
If you think about it, I mean, this has only really kind of recently been said, but the best bands have always been the best brands. It's just said more now, but Kiss, when they came out, were a very strong brand, and they still are. You put their logo on anything and it's in fact there, and it looks great to me, and it kind of so many great things about that. You know what you're getting with that? Art, really big entertainment. So I think now bands have to see themselves as fact that you are building something. There's a multimedia thing, it's a touring thing, it's going to be into t-shirts and spin-off activity as well. It's creating a whole world in which music's the hub of it, but it's not all of it. I think the best bands have always had that, where people bought into the whole concept of it more than just the music. But now I think you have to think, well, that's what people want now. And the best rock bands have always had that about them. I've always seen it that way. I think that's really good.
So Spinefarm condoms and little dolls of Dante in the...
Oh yeah, definitely those.
Little doll,
not with not quite so grey hair, probably though. Yeah. If I can ride with Gene Simmons, I'll be very happy indeed. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Excellent. So rock is not dead.
Not in my world, and not in the real world either, I'm pleased to say. Yeah. And we should mention on that note that vinyl sales are booming. We can't make it quick enough to sell it.
Right.
The supply can't meet the demand for vinyl. Now, who thought that was going to happen? And that's kind of an old school value. Just goes to show that people who love music want some emotional attachment to something they can own, love, caress, kiss, take to bed, smell, whatever. Yeah. And vinyl has that emotional connection. And that's been bought by people from 13 to 16. So that's a really encouraging aspect of the business. And so the physical product is far from being dead. We sell mainly physical product as a label. And that's really encouraging, I think. People want to own something.
So is the flexi disc coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it is. And there's cassettes being done now as well. Flexi discs actually don't sound too bad, actually. Don't play them too often, obviously. But I think sometimes people buy vinyl and don't play it properly as well.
You're showing no age.
But I've said...
cover mount of the album.
I love all that. I think my magazine should have that again. I mean, I've sent vinyl to some people and I've said, what do you think of it? They said, we haven't opened it. They just want to have... It's a collectability thing as well, which is a fantastic thing. So, great. We love that.
Thank you for your time, Dante.
Great pleasure.
Excellent. We've been talking to Dante Bonutto on TMR TV with Keeble's Killer Cuts.